Hi everybody, it's Bob Icino from the Pure Exposure Growth Series and Path Trading Partners. I always like to say when I'm recording these videos. So this is Thursday, late afternoon, early evening. And it was a heck of a Thursday because we saw the equity indices fall down 4%. It's now the fourth consecutive day. We had two individual gap opens lower that both finished lower. The S&P got through its 200-day moving average and closed below it. The Dow's been below its 200-day moving average. Nasdaq's still about maybe 4 to 5% away from its 200-day simple moving average. But I just got done doing a TV appearance on Fox News with Neil Cavuto. And we'll link, it's in the YouTube page. So if you go down and look, you'll be able to watch that video. Neil had mentioned that this was one of the fastest moves of this magnitude down for the S&P since 1938 or something like that. I thought he said 2008, but it didn't really matter to me because when it came my turn to talk, what I said to him was, yes, it's one of the fastest moves we've seen since 2008, but it was also a very fast up move. So if you look at the move down we've had in the S&P, it's been 2 weeks, but the similar move up, or the move that we covered on the downside, only took 10 weeks. So yes, we are where we were at the beginning of December. That's where the markets are right now, where they were at the beginning of December 2019. So that basically means that after a 30% up move, it's almost as if we haven't done anything yet, and it's the third week of February. That's actually not so bad when you think about it in that context. So these things have to be thought about in context. Now, the coronavirus is expanding outside of China now. This is also something I said in the interview. It's expanding outside of China, and there's countries that aren't going to handle it very well. But I will say this about the U.S. If China was able to achieve a declining rate of infection, in other words, they're still having new infections, but the rate of those new infections, the number of new infections, is falling. So it's becoming lower and lower each day. The U.S. should be able to do it quicker than China. Now, China's first reported case was somewhere around December 27th or so. In hindsight, that's the date they're putting out there. So that means China achieved a lowered rate of new infections within 2 months, basically. I think the U.S. can do better even if it expands here. So obviously the sell-off in part was the coronavirus because there was a case in California of someone who caught the virus who had not been to China and was not known to have associated with anyone that had been to any infected company. They're calling that a community spread. That's the term they're using for someone who is catching the virus within their community with no exogenous contact with some of these countries. And we'll see how that plays out. A lot of the times when that kind of thing happens, the whole story's not being told. But that's part of why stocks fell so much. We have new record lows in the treasuries. I mentioned the inverted yield curve in the last video. Still inverted. Got a little bit worse, but it's a little bit better today. So a couple other things I wanted to talk about today. Number one, on that interview on Fox News, one of the other guests, I don't remember who it was, made a comment that I hear a lot on TV, and it's the kind of thing that makes me not like financial TV, even though I do it. This person said, this move is technical. He said that risk managers are telling fund managers to exit their positions. I ran a fund of funds with my partner. He was a college friend of mine. We had a fund of funds for about 8 years. That doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Whenever you're seeing somebody on TV saying that's a technical move, it's the technicals, that means they don't have a reason why it happens. Now, what I hate about that is they're making something up when they don't know why something's happened. They don't understand technicals. Mike Arnold understands technicals. Carly Garner, who's going to be on our next show, understands technicals. I, to a certain level, not as good as those two, but to a very deep level, understand technicals. When somebody says this move is technical, they don't have a reason why a move is happening. Now, here's what bothers me about that. Who cares why it's happening? And I mean that sincerely. The fundamentals are sort of a hobby of mine. But the only thing that you can be sure about is the price, the security, or the commodity you're looking at has traded. That's it. So if I say Dow traded 26,500 today, it's a fact. Actually, I don't know if that's a fact. I'm just making up a number. but that would be a fact. If I tell you crude oil traded below $46 today, that's a fact. It's not my opinion. Those things are facts. So those are the things we trade on. And the guys on TV, they don't want to say, I don't know. Now, here's what pure exposure is all about. Pure exposure to the truth in trading and investing. I don't always know why something happened. But I'm going to put something up on the screen right now. And it's something Mike Arnold showed me. And I don't know if Mike created it, honestly, or if he got it from somewhere and he likes using it. But it's called the hierarchy of questions. And this applies to trading. So I call it the hierarchy of questions for traders. Here it is. Now, what is the weakest question for traders? The weakest question for traders is why. That's the weakest question. So the reason I put that up there is your first responsibility as a trader or an active investor or even a passive investor, not to figure out why something happened, but just what happened and what you're going to do about it. And that's it. And that's all I wanted to talk to you guys about. I will talk to you in the next video. Don't forget to sign up for our March 16th event. I mentioned Carly Garner. She's going to be on the show. Amelia Bordeaux is going to be on the show. I think we're having Scott Shelley back. We might have a couple of other surprise guests for that particular show. So don't forget to sign up, and I will talk to you guys soon.